you grew up in Zambia and went to college in South Africa. Talk about the African continent, some of the challenges there, and how that relates to what you saw growing up and learning, I guess, the ropes in your study in sociology, but also in business.
Well, I mean, I'm a fan of Africa at the moment. I think that Africa is, it's not the story of tomorrow, but it's the story maybe of the day after tomorrow. And I think it's happening. I mean, you're getting very good growth in sub-Saharan Africa. And in fact, I think now with the Arab Spring, you're going to have some really good growth in North Africa as well. But let's take sub-Saharan Africa. I'm very involved in a number of initiatives in Africa. I actually spend time in Africa. I think an organization, a co-chair with the former president of Tanzania, I think called the Investment Climate Facility, about microeconomic reform in Africa. So I'm out there 4 times a year with board meetings there. I've just been in Rwanda. Previous meeting was Tanzania. You know, we move around Africa in terms of doing these reform programs. And I see a new Africa emerging. And again, it comes back to intellectual capital, because now you've got a number of people who went overseas or were educated who are coming back in. That's the first sign. That's what happened when Ireland started growing. The diaspora coming back in. And you're getting a middle class being built up, which is hugely important to the development of society. So you're getting intellectual capital returning. You're getting a middle class coming in. And therefore, a desire for proper economic reform allied with political reform. And it's going to be staccato. There are going to be some that fall off the bus. There are going to be some that get on the bus. I mean, it's just the nature of it. And of course, you'll read about the failures. But there are lots of successes taking place. So I think that if you talk about any company, not just Coca-Cola, there's a huge market out there in Africa. You know, there's what, 1 billion people and a high birth rate. Yes, all sorts of problems and poverty, but other societies have been through this before, and it's whether they grapple with it, and I think they're starting to grapple with it now. It's the early stages, but I think you see it happening.